Alright, what's up guys? It's KH3 here. How you guys doing today? What's up? I'm back with another little Kingdom Hearts 3 discussion video for you guys today. Well, not really a little discussion video, because, oh man. Oh, this is big. But you know what I mean. Got another Kingdom Hearts 3 discussion video for you guys. It's another special video, too, because I'm using a different format for this video from what I usually do. You know, I usually do commentaries over, like, gameplay. But I got the face cam going on, and this is kind of the straight-up thing with you guys, because this kind of deserves it right here. Oh, my goodness. But anyways, I'm really excited about this topic right here, because, you know, it's been something that I've been wanting to talk about for quite a while now. You know, I just didn't have the time to get around to it when this first came out, because I was busy with school and stuff like that. And, you know, a lot of people had already talked about it to begin with, so I was like, I don't know if I can add anything else to this. But this came out yesterday, and I just thought, yo, I just want to make a video on this, finally talk about it with you guys. And there's a lot of cool things that are added onto this little topic right here that I think you guys should know about. So I just want to show that to you guys while I'm making this video. And yeah, enough stalling. Let's actually get into this right here. So here it is. It says spoilers. Kingdom Hearts 3 Ultimania gives more insight into the secret reports. So, you know, as we know, there's a bunch of secret reports inside of Kingdom Hearts 3. They're in a bunch of Kingdom Hearts games as well. You know, secret reports are pretty much like journal entries from various characters inside of the Kingdom Hearts universe. You know, it's detailing events that we don't get to see in the games directly, like in cutscenes and stuff like that, giving more context to stuff that happens in the games, letting us kind of expand the story a little bit, and kind of give teases for what's in the future and stuff like that. And, you know, since this is Kingdom Hearts 3, the end of the Darkseeker saga, and the beginning of a new one, it's kind of teasing the next one, I say. But, wow, there's a lot of stuff revealed in this thing. It's crazy. They talk about a lot of cool stuff. There's a lot of mysterious things talked about in here, a lot of stuff that's been speculated on. It's crazy. But yeah, it's insane, man. There's 13 of them on here, of course, you know, 13 Kingdom Hearts. And there's a lot, as you can tell, there's a lot to this thing right here. And again, like I mentioned right here, the Kingdom Hearts 3 Ultimania that just came out a couple weeks ago gives more insight into these things. You know, it doesn't give too much insight, honestly. You know, it kind of just explains what it's saying here verbatim. But, you know, there's still some cool insights given here. So that's what I want to go over with you guys, letting you guys know what's going on with that. So I'm just going to go over each of the reports, each 13 of them, and read the report itself, the insight, and kind of discuss it with you guys on what this all means. It's just kind of a straight shot like that. And again, this is going to be like it's kind of straight up video, little edits and stuff like that. So you know what? We got a lot of stuff to cover here, so let's actually get into this. I got my Kingdom Hearts 3 sweatshirt on. I got my reading glasses ready, and I think it's time for us to actually dig into this, man. So before we get into this, actually, you know, be warned, there's spoilers beyond this point. You know, if you haven't played the game yet and seen the secret ending and epilogue, you should probably not want to watch this. And if you haven't read the secret reports yet and you've seen the ending, stuff like that, hey, I'm going to be reading it along with you guys, so you don't have to worry about that. Again, spoilers ahead. You should probably know that going in. And I'm not the best story person when it comes to Kingdom Hearts. I'm not like a story expert like a lot of other people are. So I may get some stuff wrong here and there. Sorry about that. I'm not an expert, but, you know, I'll do the best I can. But anyways, yeah, let's actually start going into this. So let's start with Report 1. This is really interesting right here. So, Report 1, Reflection. Am I alive? When I awoke, I found myself in a cell. Afterwards, the researchers attempted to learn just who I am. Who am I? What can I remember is 4 friends, a key. I, who have no name, become known as X. Note the writer reports refer to themselves as whatever that is, a similar pattern to the nameless star. The only joy I've had since coming here is conversing with 2 boys who come sometimes. Then one day, someone came to take me out of the cell. In the dim light, I saw that the man was one-eyed. Though several years had passed, still now, I know not who I am. May my heart be my guiding key. Author unknown. So the commentary here says, the writer is a girl known as Subject X, which we'll get more into in later entries, who was being used as a test subject in Ansem the Wise's castle. She's the same girl being sought after by Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, as well as the girl Axel and Saïx spoke of. 4 friends, a key. The one wording insinuates a deep relationship between 4 friends and a key, the key blade. The saying, may your heart be my guiding key, is connected in that implies that she is someone who came from the ancient past, so she's probably from Union Cross or something like that. The 2 boys who come sometimes, Lee and Isa, that's who they are, who lived in Radiant Garden. In order to see her, they slipped into the castle. We'll see that in Report 6. I saw that the man was one-eyed, if we're speaking about a one-eyed man who were in Ansem the Wise's castle. Brag, as Zigbar was known during his human days, springs to the forefront of your mind. He became one-eyed during the events of Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. Yeah, you know all that. But yeah, pretty much basically that is that we get this journal entry from this Subject X girl, because she just doesn't remember who she is, so that's what they call her. And we're gonna see a lot more of her during this whole thing. All we know about her right now is that she's probably from the distant past, and she said, "May my heart be my guiding key," and she just doesn't remember who she is. And we'll also learn that she's around like 15, something like that. We still don't know who it is. They don't reveal who it is in here, so there's a lot of speculation going around about that. Many different possibilities. But anyways, let's go on to journal entry number 2, Mark of Mastery exam log. I'm messing up a lot, sorry. So some days have passed since I set out on my journey to visit faraway worlds for the Mark of Mastery exam. I had hoped for Ericus to come along with me, but I was to go first. It is a journey to the worlds of fairy tales that I had seen in books. I, who had been raised in a world surrounded by water, Destiny Islands, and dreaming of the outside world until just a few years ago, set out from my home, guided from the future. And my journey towards Master, I came into contact with several darknesses. Ever since those days, I thought that if darkness was able to be controlled, it needed to be feared. Ericus, who carries with him the blood of masters from the ages of fairy tales. I do not want to be someone who chases after his silhouette, but instead stands shoulder to shoulder with him as an equal. In order to face him, note kanji here is oppose or antagonize, whatever, I will need the power that is discovered from the balance of light and darkness, Xehanort. And the commentary says here, this is a report from young Xehanort wrote before becoming a Keyblade Master. It shows that while he was forming the ideology around things like if darkness was able to be controlled, it needed to be feared, and I will need the power that is discovered from the balance of light and darkness, he also showed that pure-hearted desire to mutually improve together with his best friend Ericus, because of course they trained together when they're Keyblade wielders and stuff like that before they became Masters. Ericus, who carries with him the blood of the Masters from the ages of fairy tales. It is revealed that Master Ericus is a descendant from the first Masters. Furthermore, according to director Tetsuya Nomura, these first Masters are people in the Dandelions who appear in Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, and aren't related to the Masters or Foretellers who appear in back cover. So that was a lot of speculation going on with this entry right here that Ericus could be a descendant of the Masters or the Foretellers, but that just got knocked down here. He's just a descendant from those original people like the Dandelions and stuff like that from Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. So that's cleared up, thankfully. But yeah, nice to see a journal entry from young Xehanort here. We have a bunch of journal entries from a bunch of different people here. It kind of switches in between sometimes. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to talk about there. It shows that he used to be pure-hearted at one point. You could see that throughout like the cutscenes, like in the chessboard scene. In Kingdom Hearts 3, you could see all that kind of stuff. But, you know, let's keep on going to journal entry number 3 here. Sorry, I'm burping. So memo number 1 regarding the heart experiments of Subject X. So we're getting back to her. Female, around 15 years old. Found early in the morning in the Central Plaza. After 7 days, she was able to speak, but amnesiac and cannot remember her own name. Seems concerned about which world this is. Her world seems to indicate that she had friends with her. Though she cannot remember her companions' names, it seems she was separated from them in her previous world. Shows a rejection response when attempting to recall those memories. Experiments of the heart. After the first experiments that were done with my master Ansem the Wise brought me, who had lost my memories, as an apprentice, he came to fear something and the experiments were ceased. However, would those experiments not be effective on this girl who, like me, has lost her memories? Depending on the investigation into the heart, it's possible to test those memories. Using myself as the test subject, I'll get those memories back. Learning just who this girl is and where she came from is deeply fascinating. May my heart be my guiding key, is what I'm sure she muttered. Xehanort. And this commentary says, like Report 2, this was written by Xehanort, but Reports 3 and 4 were written during this time as an apprentice. His investigations of Subject X were written here. So, this is from Terranort, a guy who claims he's Xehanort, but is actually just Terra and Xehanort kind of combined together, saying Terranort, as we know him in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. So this is from him, and during those experiments that he did when he was an apprentice of Ansem the Wise, they apparently found this girl, and he was doing experiments on her. They were trying to get those memories out of her, and they apparently just didn't work. But he's very curious on doing it because he also lost his memories. He didn't remember who he was, besides his name was Xehanort. And I guess he has a connection with this girl right here. And I guess we'll keep on seeing that as we go along here. So let's keep going to number 4 here. So Memo 2 regarding the heart experiments of Subject X. As before, her memories do not return, and our conversations continue with no indication that they ever will. Her stories sound almost like a world of fairy tales. Though it's difficult to imagine so, just from the fragments I get from her speech, it's possible she has traveled through time. If this is true, the urge to peek into her heart is uncontrollable. During the initial testing, there were several candidates on whom tests were performed, but all of their minds became unstable and collapsed. There is a chance the girl could be a special test subject. In the midst of everything, my master, who has repeatedly performed tests on several subjects, stopped his research and tore up the results and harshly berated me. Not only that, but upon the release of many subjects, the girl also disappeared. Where is Subject X? Is my master hiding her? However, I will not cease these experiments. With myself as the first subject, I will begin the true experiment. And the commentary says, the second part of the observation reports apprentice Xehanort wrote on Subject X. He is told by her that it seems she has traveled through time from the ages of fairy tales. So in Kingdom Hearts Union Cross and stuff like that. It seems like she's from that era. All of their minds became unstable and collapsed. This shows the reality of what happened when Xehanort continued his human experiments and created many sacrifices out of the test subjects. The cruelty of his actions are also written about partially in the secret reports in Kingdom Hearts 1, if you remember those. Is my master hiding her? This is ultimately the way Xehanort interpreted the situation, and Ansem Seeker of Darkness later asked Ansem the Wise about it, with this as the basis. Actually, as is written in Secret Report number 1, Braig is the one who took Subject X away, so he just doesn't know about that. So, you know, she escaped, Braig took her away. You know, Ansem, as you remember in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, he was like, stop these experiments, these are not going well. You know, he didn't see them going well, and he just stopped everything. But he kept going. Xehanort kept going because he was intent on figuring out who this girl was, apparently. You know, there's so many possibilities of who this Subject X is. I saw a lot of people talking about that it could be Master Ava from the Foretellers, but I really don't know about that. She talks about having 4 other friends, so it could be like the new Foretellers or something along those lines, you know, like Roxas and all those other people. So it could be someone in that. I can't remember them off the top of my head, so I really don't know. But I think it probably will be among those lines because she talks about 4 other friends. There's 5 Foretellers, and there's probably 5 new Foretellers. So I think it's along those lines. Moving on from that, number 5. Memoirs 1. This is from Syax. To us, as children, that castle was fascinating. Inside, Ansem the Wise performed various experiments, and under his blessing, the people lived in peace. Just that was enough to drive our curiosity. But beyond those closed-off walls, dark rumors existed. Night after night, the sound of what seemed like people's moans could be heard. Dangerous human experiments were being done. Together with my best friend Lee, we hitched a plan to investigate and state our curiosity. First was slipping past the brawny gate guards who, from their appearance, you would never guess were also researchers. Sure enough, we were quickly found, and the days we spent getting through the castle, getting thrown out the castle continued. Finally, on the day we managed to infiltrate, at the bottom of the spiral staircase, deep within the heart of the castle, we found rows of cells stretching out into the darkness. Without even knowing if anyone was in those cells, and unable to call out to anyone, we definitely felt someone's presence and regretting having snuck in. Just as we were about to turn and leave, however, we felt a tiny voice called out to us. Following that terrified voice, we found a girl, her faintly shining light glowing. So this is from Syax, or Isa, right here. And the Ultimania commentary says, Syax memoirs about his boyhood days as Isa. You can read about how, to satisfy their curiosity, Isa and Lee snuck into the research castle and met a mysterious girl, Subject X. The Brawny Gate guards, this is talking about Dylan and Alius, whose jobs were to keep watch. During the ending of Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, you can see them throwing Isa and Lee out the castle after finding them there. So this is really interesting right here because a lot of this is focused around this Subject X girl right here, whoever it is. So, you know, as you can tell, and a lot of this is connected to Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep since it's taking place in the Radiant Garden around the same time that Terranort same. You know, they stuck into the castle. They do that a lot because they were good friends back then. That was well established back in Birth by Sleep. And they stuck into the castle a lot because they heard a lot of moans going on. They were curious of what's going on. And they kept on getting thrown out. But eventually, they found Subject X, and I guess they befriended her. And they were following her around and stuff like that. So something's going on with the Subject X girl that is just crazy. And Ansem the Wise, he doesn't want anything to do with it, apparently. He just wants to throw everything out, but Xehanort will not stop. So that's where we're at this point. Let's keep going. Memoirs 2, so this is from also Isa Syx. The light was dim, so we couldn't clearly make out the girl's figure. Concealing our voices, we tried speaking with her, but she had lost her memories. Why was she locked up in this place? Even that, she didn't know. Even so, I thought that I wanted to save her. From that point on, our attempts to sneak in the times we were thrown out grew more frequent. And at times, we succeeded and spoke to the girl. As we were yet children, this was about all we could do to help her. As this continued, Lee and I decided that we were going to rescue her. With that single-minded intent on saving her, we snuck into the castle. However, though we snuck in over and over, we never saw that girl again. Was she just an illusion? Lee and I launched a mission to search for her. Today, we stand before the castle guards with the intent of becoming Ansem the Wise's apprentices. And the commentary says, the second part of Syx's memoirs talk about his exchanges with Subject X. It is revealed that Isa and Lee joined Ansem the Wise ranks as apprentices in order to search for Subject X. So they were really curious about this girl. With a single-minded intent to saving her. Though Syx gives a fairly cold impression, when he was young, he had a passionate side that he acted on as well. He thought that joining Xemnas' side would give him a shortcut to saving Subject X. So, yeah, a lot of stuff revolving around the Subject X here. She's very important to this whole thing, and I'm guessing very important to the next saga as well. You know, we've not heard this Subject X girl talked about, I don't think. I don't recall anyone talking about it. I don't recall about Lee or Isa talking about it at all during Birth by Sleep or any part of the game. Other games, I should say. So, this is completely new stuff right here. They haven't talked about this yet. So, it seems like they joined his ranks, and I guess in that joined Organization 13 just to see the Subject X girl. So, that was their main motivation behind this. So, that's really interesting right here. They were going a long way to see this girl. They were so curious about it. And man, something's going on with her. But let's keep going. Number 7. We're almost halfway through. So findings on the regeneration of people according to the Replica Project. Perhaps due to the great damage as a result of being erased as a member of Organization 13, I did not regain consciousness right away. So this is from Evan, by the way. Even when I did awake, I remained lying on the floor a while, thinking about what I should do. The Replica Project. During my time with Organization 13, I readied 20 replicas. Initially, there were many failures, not even desiring of a no title. But from the batch, the first success, Replica Riku was born, as we all know and love. With the creation of number 1, Xion, that's what Xion means in regular number 1, a mostly human-like state was achieved, but her appearance was unstable and changed based on her relationship with those who interacted with her. Using those two as a base, I created a number of incredibly lifelike replicas, but just before their completion, my work was interrupted. My guess is that Xehanort is using both the identical batch and those that came after. Today, I went out for a walk to the plaza for the first time in a while, but he appeared to make an unexpected proposal. Though quite a bit younger than I, he is a man who serves as Xemnas' advisor. Note the word used here is staff officer or military staff, so he's kind of like an officer with him, and of course that's Braig, Lucio, as we now know. I accepted that proposal and nobody once more. It will be convenient to use the replica program of the past. All is for the sake of atonement. Vexen. Ultimania commentary, a report written after the recompletion of Evan, Vexen, became a nobody once more. Pay close attention to the details of his greatly important research, the Replica Project. Additionally, it is written that Xemnas advisor Syx offered Vexen the proposal for the sake of atonement. The great damage as a result of being erased as a member of Organization 13. This is talking about the part in the case Chain of Memories where Axel uses his flames to burn away and destroy Vexen. When a nobody is defeated by an attack, their recompleted body suffers the damage. So, this is from Vexen right here, where he's talking about the replica program. This is kind of like the second part of this whole report things right here. They start talking about the replica program, stuff like that. And he was putting a lot of research in it, and there was a lot of failures and stuff like that. And he's also being approached by Braig / Lucio to join up with Xehanort and stuff like that again. And just a lot of stuff happening in this. There's quite a bit of stuff in here. So he really wanted to get this replica program right. That was a big kind of deal back in Kingdom Hearts 3. You know, there's a lot of cutscenes in Radiant Garden in that computer lab where they talked about replicas and stuff like that. And they eventually got them, some of them for Shion and Roxas and all those people, stuff like that. And that's pretty much it to this, I guess. Again, it's talking about when he got killed in Chain of Memories. The great damage as a result of being Race of Memories Organization 13, so he's still feeling the damage from Chain of Memories when he got attacked. So let's keep going. Number 8. The structure of the real Organization 13, also from Evan. The real Organization 13 is the name generally being used for Xehanort himself and his 12 vessels. As the number needed for the plan are already sufficient, Demyx and I have been sidelined. There are a few others from the organization headed by Xemnas who, like me, chose to become nobodies again after their recompletion as humans, but Xemnas himself is ever an exception. At the present, the real Xehanort, who is an old man, leads the real Organization 13. He as a human, his Heartless, and his Nobody, who were defeated in the past, as well as the younger Xehanort, do not truly exist in this time. They make use of the prototypes I once created as vessels, with their hearts being torn from them moments they existed in the past. Xehanort has ordered me, to improve these prototypes so that they achieve a more human-like state. This is also a good opportunity for me for my atonement, by completing replicas that will be the vessels for flesh and blood humans. I will have to think of how to give those vessels to them afterwards. Vexen. Ultimania commentary. The contents of Vexen's observations on the structure of the real Organization 13, the ones who do not truly exist in this time, you know, the multiple versions of Xehanort, you know, that he brought along as vessels for these 13 Seekers of Darknesses, are called as such because their bodies are replicas and their hearts were called from the past. So he just ripped them from their times and put them there just for his crazy plot, which is just so mean. I'm just kidding. Replicas that will be vessels for flesh and blood humans. This is talking about the progression of Vexen's research, but also one of the aims he entrusted to Sora and his friends. In the story, we also help, with the help of Demyx, the vessel that is brought before Ienzo is used for Roxas. So yeah, this thing right here is just kind of just a general comment on the structure of a real Organization 13, you know, the sequel to the first one, where it's just Xehanort and a bunch of his copies of himself from different points in time. He just plopped him from the time, put him in replicas, and used him for his bidding, which is crazy. There's not really much revealed in here, except for the last thing, where it's like vessels for them afterwards. Number 9. Regarding the analysis of Ansem the Wise's data. This is from Ienzo. This is my conclusion after having seen all of the data that my master entrusted to Riku. Within Sora's heart are 3 boxes, each storing 3 respective hearts. The first is Roxas, the second from around the same time as Roxas, Shion. The third is from a time before, which is Ventus, obviously. These 3 hearts are silently melded into Sora. Potentially removing these hearts, physically speaking, poses a danger similar to when Sora once became a Heartless. First, the heart must be placed into a vessel to store it, and then that vessel must be awakened. The best method would be retrieving the bodies of those people to use as vessels, but the case of the others is unclear, and Roxas has no human body. Naminé, who is likely contained in Kairi's heart, is the same. As long as there is a body, all that is needed is some catalyst to return their hearts from Sora into the bodies. The catalyst is the person who ties all their hearts together, as turning a heart completely into data is impossible. The hearts can only be restored in pieces. Although the real hearts inside Sora are necessary, their memories can be completely reconstructed using the data of Twilight Town. For Roxas and Naminé, who have no physical bodies, the data is of great importance. Commentary. A report written by Ienzo while analyzing the Ansem code. He writes about the 3 hearts inside Sora and the way they potentially saved them. The first is Roxas, second from around this time, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you know who they are. So he's talking about how he can possibly restore the Roxas, Shion, Naminé, all those people, put them in the vessels and kind of help them. But the problem is they're pretty much melded to Sora's heart and also Kairi's heart as well. So it's going to be really hard to get them out, and you also need kind of their physical bodies to do this as well, and Naminé and Roxas don't have physical bodies, so that makes it 10 times more complicated, but they eventually got that down, so he found some way to do it. So this is kind of a journal entry from him talking about how his troubles with that and analyzing Ansem's data and trying to get them back, his troubles, stuff like that. I guess there's not much to that necessarily. Next one, entry 10. Regarding the analysis of Ansem the Wise data, 2, the sequel. Replicas can be thought of as replacements for bodies. Their data can be pulled from the data of Twilight Town and placed into these empty vessels. From their memories, the vessels will take their shape, changing into something very close to a human body. The final key is the sleeping hearts inside of Sora. For their bodies to return, as long as there are catalysts to shake them from their sleep, it's likely that hearts will return to their own bodies. I burped. Replicas, they are innovative ways to serve as someone's vessel, but they weren't supposed to have been completed yet. What's more, Evan, who plays a crucial role, has gone missing. If we're supposing Roxas, Nominate, and the others remaining person will have bodies, at the very least 3 replicas will have to be prepared. Either way, it's a difficult problem, but analyzing my master's data like this reminds me of the taste of ice cream we always used to eat together when I was a child. Instead of regretting my betrayal, I must work towards restoring those 2, Roxas and Nominate, and proving my master's true intentions. Enzo. Commentary. Writings about the plan to use replicas to revive Roxas and Nominate. It's a plan that would make a complete Roxas by using the data from Twilight Town and then taking Roxas's heart from Sora. Reminds me of the taste of ice cream we always used to eat together when I was a child. Ansem the Wise's favorite sea salt ice cream was also often eaten by Enzo when he was very young. You can see them both walking and eating ice cream together in the Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep Secret event, blank points. So kind of extension of the last one. His plan was to kind of just extract the Roxas data that was in Twilight Town, the data Twilight Town, and try to get the heart from Sora's body, from Roxas and stuff like that, and put it into a vessel. So he's found it out. He found it out, and I guess that's what he ultimately did to bring back Roxas in that vessel. And, Evan's gone missing. He decided to join back up with Xehanort again until he didn't. He kind of disappeared, I guess, near the end of the game, but then he reappeared in the ending cutscene, not explaining what happened to him. Hopefully they explain that through DLC. Again, kind of extension of the last point and how he was talking about how they always used to eat sea salt ice cream together, him and Ansem the Wise. So he has a big connection to a lot of the people that he was working with in that lab. Next, number 11, Observation Log. As is written on the Lost page, I have seen the Keyblade War through. Next is to pass down the Keyblade entrusted to me by my master. Of the dandelions left alive, 5 have been chosen as the Union leaders. I will hand down the Keyblade to one of them and watch over this fate. However, it seems someone has secretly infiltrated the chosen Union leaders. An exception who wasn't chosen by the master, a virus who seeks to sneak into the program written by the master, as it were. So, the virus has begun to strain their strange machinations. They plan to reckless escape of the 5 to another world line. Is such a thing possible? So we got a traitor in our hands. We got a fake. It seems as the plan that moved to the Dandelions to another world line after the Keyblade War, but I doubt the boy and the others who are not even masters can pull it off. It seems that a witch invited here purposely from the future holds the key. Regarding the Union leaders, I thought they would be much a simpler plan, but is this to the doing of the master? Unknown. We eventually figure out this kind of brag. Ultimania commentary. Long one. Reports 11 through 13 are written by Lucia, or Bragg. Now I'll get them mixed up now. Now I just think of them one and the same. One of the Master and Master's apprentices who appears in that cover. They are fully loaded with information that is has a deep connection to what's coming next in the Kingdom Hearts series. 1. As is written on the Lost page, I've seen the Keyblade War through. The Lost page is a page that was intentionally left out of the Book of Prophecies, who contains extremely few people know. So I think it was only given to the foretellers or Lucia, or it was just given to Lucia. I can't remember exactly. I think it was given to one of the foretellers, I think. I think it was especially given to Lucia. I know that for sure. It seems someone has secretly infiltrated the chosen Union leaders. The 5 Union leaders in Kingdom Hearts Union Cross are Ephemer's Gold, Ventus, Brian, and Loria. However, Ava, acting under the orders from the Master of Masters, were supposed to have chosen a girl named Strelizia. Which took her place is currently unknown. So maybe she's virus? I don't know, but it's among the ranks. So it's either Ephemer's Gold, Ventus, Brian, or Lorium. A witch invited here from the future holds the key. The witch is Maleficent, of course. In Kingdom Hearts 1, her heart is released by Ansem. She realizes the conditions for time travel she heard from the Master Xehanort sometime in the past and travels to the ancient past. So this is where the Union Cross stuff starts to come in. Bragg starts to comment on stuff, or Lucia. keep on calling him Braig now. He's Lucio. He's Lucio. I should start calling him Lucio in this video. God, I keep on messing that up. So he's talking about how there's a virus inside of the new foretellers. It's one of those people he listed, and you know, he's trying to figure out what's all going on with that, and trying to figure out if this is all the Master's will or something like that, and trying to figure out what the hell is going on. So there's definitely a traitor or virus among those new foretellers, and we don't know who that is yet, and we don't figure out in these entries, but we definitely know that's there. So we'll have to wait for the Union Cross updates to see exactly what's going on with all that stuff. Second to last, number 12, Observation Log 2. Even if there is a world line without a Keyblade War, it isn't as if there is peace. After the disappearance of the Master and we apprentices, darkness appeared. Within the rise of darkness, the end of the world is again approaching. Amid this confusion, and the Master instructed, I passed down the Keyblade to one of the Union leaders. Along with this sacrifice, the 5 have been sent to another world line. With this, I imagine the lineage of Keyblade wielders will be preserved. I, who have lost my Keyblade, must also depart this land in order to fulfill my final role. I will discard my body and place my heart into another vessel. I will watch over the ages, proceed to the next era, and someday in the coming ages, perhaps in the separate world line where the 5 were sent, some several years, some several dozen years, some 100 years later, I will meet them again. Somewhere in the history of the passing down of the Keyblade, a chosen one who will reenact the Keyblade War will appear. That's Xehanort. When this chosen one takes the Goat of Atonement, I think that's a mistranslation. I don't know exactly what that means, but a Keyblade, you know what he means by that. In hand, I will once again act to fulfill my final role. The Lost Masters will be awakened. Unknown. Ultimania commentary. It is written that the 5 Union leaders are sent to another world line, and as even the world line without the Keyblade War will meet its end. Lucio, at this point, discards his original body, so he's changed form once. He says in the epilogue that he's changed form many times throughout the years, so who knows what he is at this point. I passed down the Keyblade to one of the Union leaders. The Keyblade Lucio had was entrusted to him by the Master of Masters, the one with the eye on it. It is considered the oldest Keyblade. In the text, it is called the Goat of Atonement. That's really funny. And was passed down through the ages until it was given to Master Xehanort. So he eventually got that in his Braig form. So yeah, he's talking about that secret, the epilogue, where they met during the that Keyblade graveyard scene. They would meet again after all those years, and they did. And he said he had a story to tell. And I'm guessing the story was the one in the previous entry that we read before, you know, talking about how there was a virus and stuff like that, and how this was all set up in some way, you know, all the events that have happened so far. So that maybe that's the story he was telling, so that it gives a lot more context to the epilogue as well. The Goat of Atonement, man, that's just really funny. So yeah, that's pretty much what he talks about here. You know, he's talking about how going throughout the years, he'll finally find that chosen one, which is Xehanort, to reenact the Keyblade War. And yeah, that's pretty much what he says here, and that's the Ultimania commentary. So the last one, number 13, Observation Log 3, last one. It seems that this body and name will be my last. If I, who have seen many bodies and names, were to have another chance, I must regrettably give up here. Note, this line was really hard to translate since almost doesn't make sense. It almost like 2 sentences got smashed into one. In the English game, it says, I must focus on what's most important, or something along those lines. But the Japanese, the emphasis is on the fact that he is to part with something that he does not want to. The Keyblade has been handed down through generations, one by one, and at last it seems a Keyblade master devoted to the darkness will be born. Until now, I have watched the Keyblade from far away, but it seems I must now take to the stage. All I have to do is pretend to be a fool who wishes for the power of the Keyblade from close. As his accomplice, I will be at his side and watch over my Keyblade. The Gazing Eye, the Keyblade entrusted to me by the Master of Masters. The Keyblade that was created with the Master's eye that links to the future. And through that eye, the Master can see the future. To change my body and watch over this Keyblade through the ages is also my role. It has been a long time. It has been an unimaginably long road. At last, in this era, the Keyblade War will rage and Kingdom Hearts will be opened. A true Kingdom Hearts born from the clash between light and dark. The reunion with those I once called my friends is near. Thereby, my role will be realized, and he will return. The Master Masters. Finally, Ultimania commentary. A report written by Lucio as Braig when he realized that after witnessing Master Xehanort's rise, the Keyblade War would happen again. It is confirmed once again that the Master Masters can see the future through the Keyblade he passed to Lucio. All I have to do is pretend to be a fool who wishes for power of the Keyblade. You can see the moment Braig and Master Xehanort come into contact and be birthed by sleep. So pretty much what he's saying here is that this is Braig at this point, you know, his Braig form, Lucio. He's gone down through so many years to finally find this one Keyblade wielder who will do this, and that Xehanort. So who knows how long it's been since Kingdom Hearts Union Cross at this point. Probably thousands of years, probably. And, you know, his role will finally be complete, you know, taking down that Keyblade, showing the Master Masters through the eye on the Keyblade, the future, and making sure everything goes according to plan. And he says he will return. So it seems like all this stuff was done to eventually get back the Master of Masters. So it seems like he'll come back at some point since all this stuff happened now that his role is complete. I guess he'll come back. And he also mentioned in the epilogue that his new role has just started or something like that. So really what that means, I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with the Master Masters, kind of bringing him back somehow. But Master Masters, he will come back, I'm pretty sure, in the next saga, and he seems like it'll be an important part of it. So much stuff in Union Cross is setting up the next saga. It's crazy. And, you know, and that chessboard scene at the very end where they have those several chess pieces with the foretellers, stuff like that. I guess that last piece is the Master Masters. I really don't know who else that would be. In the Ultimania, he says, like, I'm not going to say, but it's a secret. I think it's the Master Masters. I think it's pretty clear. So, yeah. That is the secret logs and the extra context that was added through them in the Ultimania. You know, again, it's not too much context added into it. You know, it's just kind of explaining it a little bit more, putting it into more straightforward terms here. But still, it's very important. They do kind of reveal some other important stuff. But I guess it's kind of more kind of a streamlined thing, just saying exactly what each of them says. So that was really fun. I liked reading that with you guys. I liked doing this kind of video. So that's all the video for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to tell me down in the comments below what your opinion is on all this, what kind of theories you have. Based on these journal entries, you think that the Master Master is going to come back? What do you think Lucio's role is going to be next? What do you think this Subject X is? Who do you think she will end up being? And what do you think this all means? What do you think is going to be happening in the next saga of games? Tell me down in the comments below your opinion. Also, make sure to subscribe, like this video, and follow me on Twitter, because that'd be really awesome if you did. This is KH Central, and I will see you guys later.